On September 14, 2025, Seoul was not just a city. It was the stage for one of the most bewildering and emotionally charged spectacles in modern pop culture. What should have been a night dedicated solely to Tyler, the creator's much-anticipated world tour, became something far greater, far more unforgettable. By dawn, the streets of Seoul, and indeed the timelines of millions across the globe, pulsed with a single question. What did Jungkook whisper to Taehyung? The evening began with energy. AX Hall buzzed with anticipation, the atmosphere almost electric. Tyler's concerts are known for unpredictability, for blurring the lines between performance and raw expression. But no one, not even the most devoted fan, could have predicted what would unfold in the middle of that stage. The crowd was already restless with excitement as word spread that BTS members Namjoon, J-Hope, and Taehyung were in attendance. Their presence alone sent shockwaves through the fandom, sparking whispers about unity, about hidden meanings, about the possibility of something bigger stirring beneath the surface. Even before the lights dimmed, fans were glued to every move, every glance exchanged among the seated members. And then it happened. Jungkook appeared. No announcement, no build-up, just a sudden presence, as if the air itself had shifted. The audience erupted, phones shooting skyward in a frantic attempt to capture what felt like history unfolding in real time. Screams filled the hall, a chorus of disbelief and exhilaration. Jungkook didn't hesitate. He walked with purpose, cutting through the noise, heading straight toward Taehyung. And in the middle of Tyler's performance, before thousands of stunned onlookers, he pulled him into a fierce, unrelenting embrace. The crowd fell silent. It was not just a hug. It was an embrace heavy with history, with the weight of years spent together under the brightest, harshest spotlight the world can offer. Fans described it as breathtaking, suffocating, like watching a chapter close in real time. But it wasn't only the hug that sent hearts racing. It was what came next. Jungkook leaned in. His lips moved, close enough to Taehyung's ear that no one else could hear. Cameras flashed, videos rolled, and microphones strained to catch fragments of what he said. The words were faint, nearly lost in the roar of the moment, but not entirely. 3 possible phrases surfaced, each carrying its own storm of implications. Some swear he said, "This might be the last time." Others argue it was, "Let's stay strong." A third group insists the words were, "Don't forget me." Each interpretation painted the scene differently. A farewell, a vow of resilience, a plea for remembrance. But all agreed on one thing. Those words carried weight. The reaction was immediate. Taehyung clung to Jungkook with a visible intensity, his eyes glassy under the stage lights. Fans swear that in slow-motion replays, his lips formed a silent reply, though no one could agree on what it was. His expression, however, told its own story. Shaken, vulnerable, overwhelmed. Nearby, Namjoon and J-Hope clapped, even smiled. But those who analyzed the footage frame by frame claimed their faces shifted after the whisper. The smiles faded, replaced with something more subdued, more thoughtful. Whether coincidence or confirmation, the images only fueled the fire. By the time Jungkook released Taehyung and stepped back, the damage, or perhaps the magic, was done. The moment was already immortalized. Within hours, clips of the hug spread across every platform imaginable. Fans dissected audio, slowed down footage, and exchanged theories in endless threads. The phrase, whatever it was, became the center of a cultural storm. Some chose hope. They believed Jungkook's words were encouragement, a reminder of resilience amid uncertainty. Others braced themselves for heartbreak, convinced they had witnessed a coded farewell, an unfiltered truth slip through the cracks of carefully managed stardom. Cultural commentators weighed in too. They pointed out that this was no accident. Jungkook's appearance was unscheduled, deliberate. The optics, Taehyung in the spotlight, Namjoon and J-Hope nearby, the world watching, were too precise to dismiss as coincidence. It was theater, but theater laced with raw emotion. What unsettled many was the timing. BTS is navigating its most fragile era. Solo projects, military service, and the constant hum of speculation about what comes next. Against that backdrop, Jungkook's whispered words carried the weight of prophecy. Were they acknowledging distance, signaling a parting? Or were they simply the kind of raw, unguarded words that are never meant to echo beyond a private moment? Fans wept. Some found solace in the bond, proof that despite everything, Jungkook and Taehyung's connection endures. Others spiraled into fear, unable to shake the idea that they had witnessed the beginning and end. What no one could deny was the sheer emotional force of it all. This was more than a hug. It was a reminder of how deeply personal BTS feels to millions. Their every gesture becomes public property, their emotions magnified until they're no longer theirs alone, but part of a global narrative. And yet, there is a cruel irony at the heart of this storm. For all the obsession over what was said, the truth remains: no one knows. No official statement has clarified Jungkook's words. No confirmation, no denial, only silence. A silence that, for fans, speaks louder than any press release ever could. But that silence also demands caution. Because for all its power, this story is built on fragments, grainy audio, shaky footage, speculation amplified by the echo chambers of social media. There is no verified record that Jungkook uttered a farewell at Tyler's concert. No confirmation that this was anything more than an embrace between two men who have shared a decade of triumphs, struggles, and unshakable history. And yet, perhaps that is why the moment resonates so deeply. It reflects not only Jungkook and Taehyung's bond, but also the longing of their fans. A longing for unity, reassurance, and permanence in a world that constantly shifts. The embrace becomes less about what truly happened and more about what people needed it to mean. A symbol of closeness, a fear of parting. A reminder that even in the glittering world of superstardom, emotions spill through the cracks. So what really happened on September 14th, 2025? Maybe it was nothing more than a hug, a whisper of encouragement between brothers. Maybe it was something far more, a farewell in disguise, a moment of honesty too raw to ever be spoken aloud again. We may never know. But one fact is unshakable. That night, Jungkook held Taehyung close, and the world felt it. Felt the hope, the fear, the ache of uncertainty. Felt the weight of bonds that are both fragile and unbreakable. Whether it was goodbye or simply a reminder of enduring strength, the memory has already secured its place in cultural history. Fans will remember the silence of the crowd, the trembling intensity of the embrace, and the haunting question that still lingers. What did Jungkook whisper to Taehyung?